Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Chapter 2 of The Homeless Vigilante. Before we get started today, I want to give a shout out to my first comment from Purple Raindrop. Thank you for your support, and I hope to see you again. Before we get started into the book, I want to add a trigger warning. This chapter will get into medical injuries with a detailed description. So if that's something that makes you queasy or uneasy, please click off the video. With that being said, let's get started with Chapter 2 of The Homeless Vigilante. Chapter 2. For 2 weeks, Nightfall remained a ghost in the Musutafu underground. Aizawa combed the narrowest alleyways, checked the abandoned warehouses near the docks, and reviewed dozens of police reports. The vigilante had completely vanished from his usual territory. The breakthrough didn't come from a sighting, but from a confidential medical file recovered by Recovery Girl and Tsukachi. A sympathetic underground clinic doctor had treated a runaway matching Nightfall's description months prior, meticulously logging the horrifying, borderline torturous drawbacks of umbral tether. Aizawa sat at his desk at UA, reading the report under the dim glow of his lamp, his grip tightening on the paperwork as he realized the terrifying price the boy paid every single time he used his power. According to the file, Nightfall's quirk was a weapon that actively tore his own body apart from the inside out. Non-lethal tissue destruction. Non-fatal hemorrhaging. Whenever Aizawa or a villain forcibly broke a shadow construct, Nightfall suffers a massive, terrifying nosebleeds. The blood flow constricted naturally before becoming fatal, but left him severely anemic. Surface skin peeling. Bright light hitting his shadow caused the epidermis on his actual body to violently blister and peel. As a result, agonizing burns, though it miraculously avoided deep tissue infections, and he can't be in the light for long periods of time without experiencing these burns. Muscle fiber fraying. Extending his shadow literally stretched and tore his muscle fibers. It left him temporarily paralyzed by sheer pain, even if it caused no permanent muscle loss. Superficial flesh ripping. Escaping an anchored shadow tore the top layer of his skin and flesh. It left horrific scars along his body, though it narrowly missed his major arteries. Joint and vascular strain. Subperplexion whiplash. Rapidly retracting his tethers like the high-speed rooftop escape he used against Aizawa, violently jerked his joints out of place and stretched his ligaments, causing an agonizing dislocation without tearing major blood vessels. Controlled cranial pressure. Spiking intracranial pressure ruptured blood vessels in his eyes and ears. This causes temporary blindness and deafness, but stopped just short of causing a stroke. Reversible ischemia. Hardening his shadow completely cut off local blood flow circulation. It causes intense numbness and blue-black skin discoloration, though normal blood flow slowly returned once deactivated. Concussive shock. Heavy impacts on his shadow transmitted a neural shock wave directly to his brain, leaving him severely dazed, vomiting, and it stopped short of a fatal brain bleed. Neurological overload and agony. Phantom mutilation. His nervous system registered every single cut, burn, or strike on his shadow as real agonizing pain, even though there is no physical wound manifested on his body. Conscious seizures. Neural overload triggered exhausting full-body muscle convulsions, but the boy remains entirely awake and forced to feel every single muscle spasm. Incapacitating migraines. Overexertion caused immediate, blinding neural migraines that completely incapacitated him without causing permanent brain damage. Temporary neural burnout. Overusing his tethers deadened the nerve endings in his hands and feet, leaving them numb and clumsy for days, before the nerves could slowly repair. Aizawa closed the file, his expression darker than the Musutafu night. He didn't just escape me 2 weeks ago, Aizawa realized, a knot forming in his stomach. By breaking my capture scarf and launching himself onto that roof, he must have undergone subluxation whiplash, muscle fraying, and massive concussive shock. He's not hiding because he's slick, he's hiding because he's been crippled by his own quirk. An hour later, Aizawa was back on the streets of Musutafu. He wasn't looking for a dangerous rogue anymore. He was looking for a dying kid. He found him in the flooded basement of a condemned apartment complex near the train tracks. Nightfall was curled up on a damp mattress, shivering violently. His nose was crusted with dried blood. His hands were deathly pale with blue tinted from the ischemia. His eyes were bloodshot and completely unfocused from the cranial pressure. He couldn't even stand. As Aizawa approached, a pathetic, trembling shadow tried to rise from the boy's heels, but instantly dissolved, causing Nightfall to wheeze and clutch his head in the throbs of an immediate blinding migraine. "Don't," Aizawa said softly, stepping into the dim light. He knelt beside the mattress, completely bypassing his capture scarf. "I know about the drawbacks, kid. You're fighting a war against your own body." Nightfall squeezed his eyes shut, a tear cutting through the grime on his face. "Go away, it hurts." "I know it hurts," Aizawa said, his voice unusually gentle as he reached down to lift the frail boy into his arms. Nightfall whimpered as his frayed muscles and dislocated shoulder protested the movement. "But you're done hurting alone. We're going to fix this." And that was the end of Chapter 2 of The Homeless Vigilante. I hope you guys liked this video, and I'll see you guys next time on Thursday for Chapter 3.